All right. So here's my trade review for today. Um, Mainly traded DKNG and Tesla, and also kept a good eye on the markets and kind of broke them down all day to sort of support my um, direction with DKNG and Tesla. So here's DKNG's daily. It had an upgrade yesterday, had a lot of volume, and I really liked it for a short yesterday, which I also traded it short. Um, and then I traded it again short today. And just overall, looking at the daily, clearly in a downtrend, it did have this, before yesterday, it had this sort of big volume day, but I kind of looked at that as it was sort of following the market. That was when the market gave a big reverse hammer. And if you do zoom out, I mean, it really is at the lowest point it's ever been here. So I guess you could say this is good support here. Um, but, you know, these are in a downtrend until otherwise. And so when it got that upgrade and popped up and went up, I think it was as high as maybe 20% from here to here. Let me see, actually. Yeah, it was like 18%. Um, felt like uh, felt like it was overextended. So when I look on the pivots here, this is kind of cool because really I was having a hard time looking at the daily yesterday to say, okay, well, where's the resistance? What levels in here come together to give a good sort of top here, and I couldn't really find a good one. I mean, you can see here there's a decent range in this general area here, like like somewhere in here, but there wasn't anything perfect. So then I go to the pivots, and I kind of liked what I saw here. And I know there's a shit ton of lines here, but really, when you look at all these days right here, these 3 days have more in common, and that's their like highest point of their pivots are right here. So it's a bit more condensed. Where if you look at all of these days, their pivots are pretty. They have a big gap between them, but you could definitely tell that there was a tightening here during these 3 days, and so I did like this. And then you combine that with yesterday, its pivots were from here to here. The highest point was right here, which is in line for the most part with that. So, you know, it moved up about almost 18% on that upgrade, even though we had a big downtrend. So I was looking to short it around there, and that was my sort of thesis for that. And if you look at it yesterday, yeah, right here, it gave really good levels. So this was the move yesterday. This down a bit. Gave this inverse head and shoulders here. So lots of good levels it made yesterday. I shorted it from here down to here, but I think when the Fed talk came out, price ripped up and then couldn't get above this shoulder here, and I think that would have been a great short right there because this area, like it made a new high, even made a double top, and then came under. I mean, that right there, that whole thing tells me that that tells me that it's done going up. I mean, there's a good chance that that was it, and it has a much better opportunity to go down. So, um, anyway, so then for today's trade, price opens up right here, okay, and it yeah, it goes right up to this good level right here. So you had the whole $1.21, you had 21 and a half, and then up here, top of the shoulder, 22 and 20 cents. So for me, when I saw it come up here, reject it, and you can see here we had a really nice sell off down to here. I felt like, oh man, I missed that. But it was only 11 a.m. here. So we still had 5 hours to go for the rest of the market. So that was good. Price comes up. I did like this low of yesterday, but it wasn't at that nice psychological level 21, which is also another really good level where it pulled back here. So that's where the trade worked for me, right at that 21. I got excited when I saw it coming back up, and I got in early, and then got stopped out, and that makes sense. I rushed into that for sure. It's just it's funny, we have plans, or even when we're prepared for the plan or we come up with it on the fly, we just get excited and we think, oh well, we have the plan. Let's execute it. Let's wait a little bit and let's execute it. But really, it's like we're always way too early or way too late, and you just have to really be patient and wait for the best opportunity. That's at least what's happened to me a lot. So um, you can see price came up. So price was right here, did all of this, then came up to this level here. You can see here it rejected it twice yesterday, and then I thought that maybe that would be a good failure there for the short, and it squeezed up with some volume, and then you could see some selling coming in. So once that happened, oh, actually, so then I tried it one more time. Yeah. So I tried it risking just above 21, somewhere up here. And then it came down, hit that, came back up. I got a little worried, so I got out of some of it. And then felt like I was kind of reading the tape a little bit, seeing a little level here that it broke and then got back under. Not sure if that was perfect, but then I added back in. So I lost a little bit, but I had my full size in, and then wanted to see it break this level. And then it did. And then from there, it was pretty easy peasy. My main target was right here. So I got a lot of it out there. These were really tiny baby partials just to pay me some, because I had been waiting for a while, about a half hour. I guess from here I'd been waiting, yeah, about a half hour from there, and yeah, I felt like if that failed, it could keep going to that 20 big bid, which it eventually hit, and I partialed some. This was by accident. This $19.80. I did not mean to partial there. I got out of the majority of my position here, so I was leaving that 15, I don't know what it was, 10 or 15% on for just the trend down underneath 20 to potentially hit the 19 bid, which was an even bigger one down there. So I put in a range order, and I was putting it in, and it accidentally filled some of it, so that was kind of a bummer. So I lost a little bit there, but ended up getting all out at this 1930. It was getting close to the end of the day, 15 minutes left, wasn't going to hit that bid, so then I got all out there, and that ended up being the low of the day for the most part, pretty much right here. Zoom out a little bit. Yeah, so that's pretty much what that looks like. This is, like I said about yesterday, the DKNG set up really nicely. That trade made sense to me. That day one trade made a lot of sense, and it made really good levels. And then the day two trade was just as good, continued the downtrend, and then we had the weak market, which added even more, even more to this thesis here. Another thing I did was I liked this so much yesterday that I bought a put on it for $20. So my strike price, target price was 20 for the option, but the expiration date wasn't for another month. So I had a month for this to eventually maybe come back down. If for some reason on the daily it wasn't gonna give as good of a short signal, and maybe it went up a little bit more and then maybe started to then come back down. I had a month's worth, and another thing about giving yourself more time and an option is that you can get out. If it's not doing what you think, and say price really got above, maybe I bought a put down here, starts going down, and then it holds, and then today it holds here again, and for some reason it starts going up there, passes 23, passes the high of this. Well, I'll just get out of that put, and I can get out of it and still make some of that money back. So I just take a small loss, and that's what's nice about having an expiration date further away. The further out, the less time decay you have to deal with, and the more time you can give it to do what you want. Say it stayed in here for a few more days and then eventually then broke down and started going down towards 20. Well, then I'd be just as good I was today, meaning like that put would start going in the money, and then I could sell it later. So the option gives me time. It's like with day trading, we need to have the direction picked out and we need it to do it right then. With options, you have more time, and so it's like I just need at some point for DKNG to go down. It could go up a little bit and then it could go down. It could consolidate and then it could go down. It could rip up a little bit and then go down. And all of those I make money. But if it keeps going up and maybe surpasses a resistance area that I feel like it can keep going, then I'll get out and take that small loss. So that's what's cool about options. It gives you more flexibility. So I essentially made money on that. I made money day trading this yesterday down. Day traded it today short, and then also made that money on the put option in my swing account. So that was pretty sweet. Okay, here's my Tesla trade. Sort of had to think about what I was doing when I was trading it, but so Tesla's been weak on the daily, right? It's been selling off and had earnings coming up. Obviously, it's been kicking ass in earnings. It seems like every quarter. However, it is in a downtrend. Market's in a downtrend, etc. And even like Microsoft, it did go up in the pre-market overnight, but then it sold off. So, even when things are getting good earnings, they're selling off. Maybe unless they're like the banks or something right now. So, the last few days, 900. Pretty easy level you can see here for the most part, and then starts going up, and then we had all that crazy volume yesterday from after the Fed talk, right? So from here to here we had all that volume. So we have this nice level 900, which was respected yesterday as being the low. So basically what I wanted to see was if price goes below 900, I want to short it. And that's what happened, and it did it pretty quickly into the open, and that's why I sort of fought it here at the open. So let's go to the 1 minute. You can see here, price opened right here at 935. Didn't take it, but 5-6 minutes to get under 900. Then it started consolidating, and where was VWAP? VWAP was, yeah, okay, so VWAP dropped really quickly too. So everything looked really bearish to me. We got under the 900. We got under the crazy volume from yesterday that all the markets had. So we got under that. We got under 900, and then the VWAP was coming down really, really sharply. So I don't know. I guess I just felt like if this can give me an opportunity to enter under 900, I think it could keep going. ATR is about 70. So right, generally around there. I just use this as a small variable. I don't put a ton of weight on it, but so right there. So we'd only moved 60% of an ATR, high RVOL day, earnings yesterday. It could definitely move that or more. And then 850 was my main target here, but I guess I didn't trade it all that well. But sort of fought it. Liked this consolidation. A lot of volume was coming in, but it wasn't going up. I just felt like in a matter of time it was going to sell off. Got short, and then I think I added a little bit more and then got out. And then when it failed here, got short again, added in, partialed here, partialed on the way up, fought it again, I guess. With Tesla, I don't really buy that many shares, so I guess I probably need it to move a bit more. I always want to have a few shares for the trend, but when I'm not trading with that high of size and this is so expensive, it's like I run out of the shares really quickly, or I go down to one share. And so this thing ends up being sort of a battle of not only the technical analysis and all that, but like a battle of how many shares I have left and how I can trade the same way, but figure out how to keep shares. So that was a little bit of my sort of problem with this. But so I eventually got the main move here. This was that big flush. So you can see here, it had the big drop down, super vertical move down, right? So then we had a big sort of consolidation here, another move down, and then a pullback, but still a lot of volume. And then 850 was still a good target, and then it shot down really well. Made a good trade on this. I think I made like 4.5 R or something on it, even with some of these mess ups here. And you know what? This, I would have still been in this trade. So I got out some here, came up. I really liked this ad. My average would have still been pretty high. I think it was like somewhere, I think it was somewhere like around here. So it wouldn't have gotten taken here with this ad. And then I took some of it off. That would have been great. But then I added one more time here. I think. I'm not sure what this, yeah, so something like that. Anyways, it was the third ad. This third ad messed it up. And then I sort of kind of sat back and talked to myself about, okay, why are you adding too much? Ads are always tricky, blah, blah, blah. If one ad works, don't try and add another time, especially not that quickly. So it was maybe a bit too much of scalping. And then I fast forward, this thing was really compressing against 850 here. You could see 855 was holding. Then it was pushing down further. It was pushing down further. Then I was using a combination of everything like AMD, SPY, other stocks and markets that were telling me we're about to flush down again. You had this big bid at 850. And then right here, you could really see it wanted to go down right here with this volume. Then it held. And you could just see these little shadow wicks here. I got in a couple shares. Stop was just up here. And actually, I think my stop might have been above this 1 minute candle because it had such a high volume. I just felt like, okay, if this thing does flush, it's just going to be a little quick squeeze. Maybe it'll stay above, below here, this 854. And then it flushed super fast. Got one partial, moved my stop to break even, then it stopped me out. But it ended up giving a really good move from there. It sort of busted through and added in a whole new set of players here for another move down. It just kind of wicked me out here. But that Tesla trade was really fun. Sort of wish I would have held on to a share or two after getting this majority of the move here. Then I could have maybe even added another couple shares for this secondary move. That would have been a sweet all-day trade. All right, so today was freaking awesome. I just loved everything that the SPY did and the Qs did and the IWM did and Tesla and AMD. I mean, it just all just came together and just made sense. It's like they were all hitting key support levels at the same time. They were all breaking those levels at the same time. And it wasn't like they were moving exactly the same. I guess they were sort of moving together, but like all of those support levels were different in severity. So like Tesla's 850 was like probably one of its biggest support levels in the last while. However, so Tesla I think probably had the biggest support level, but it broke through that. So anyways, so let me kind of talk to you about what I was doing all day here and combining all of these things. So here's the SPY daily. It still is not reversing up since that big hammer. And so you got a nice little range going here. And you can see yesterday is when it sort of looked like it was breaking out. And then we had the Fed talk. Actually, it was pretty calm. And then we had the Fed talk, and the Fed talk brought it up pretty quick and then brought it right back down. And then we stayed in here. So really, we had more compression here. And again, today we opened up near the top, sort of goes up a little bit. Can't get near as high as that the Fed talk, price action. And then we eventually get a nice short. And so here on the 5-minute, you can see that. So here was the Fed talk right here, and you can see the volume showing it down here, a change in volume right at 2 p.m. tries to break up. Maybe everyone was bullish initially, gives a couple good wicks, and then it was see you later all the way down, sort of inside this big range still, right? So that was a really nice fake breakout, fake change in direction in terms of not a downtrend, but more a curving around and going up. And so it made a lot of good levels. And here, I was actually trying to trade it yesterday and didn't, and just got stopped out on it. I actually got short right at this retest of 440 here. I wanted to get short to go down, but then it went up a little bit further, sort of hit this isolated pivot here, this three bar isolated pivot, topped out right here, then came down and then sold off. But I think not only do we have these daily ranges and levels, but when you have this much volume, you can set levels up around this volume. And it just so happened that this move yesterday aligned with a lot of our levels here. So generally we were at a resistance area here. Generally this was like a resistance area here, and we tried to break it with the Fed talk and couldn't. So really, this general area is resistance. Today, we were not long unless we would have gotten above here. Gosh, this is annoying. We would have needed to get above. So we're compressing, whatever we're doing, no matter what we're doing, we needed to get above this and then go. We're along from here, right? Because we get above all these daily ranges, and then this Fed talk, and then we're along up until here, right? This 447 or whatever. And then we hit that resistance and we get above it, and then we're along. So for the most part, I was short to just neutral here while we were right here, right? I mean, sure, you could have gone long, but then the bigger picture is like, okay, there's pretty big resistance here. I mean, we're talking fresh, super high volume from yesterday that pushed it down here. So you're going to see some resistance right around here. So it doesn't even go up there, right? Okay, and it comes down here, starts compressing maybe. You can draw all kinds of patterns and stuff. But while all this is going on, Tesla is selling off, right? So even by 10:30, Tesla's gone over an ATR. And by 10:30, SPY hasn't really done anything. Even by noon, it hasn't done anything. So by noon, it's still in the middle here, whereas Tesla by noon is still way down here. Then you go to AMD. AMD by noon is making new fresh lows here. Okay, so AMD was a whole nother story. It made the acquisition, right? So we know when a company acquires another company or business, they usually pay up for it, and then they usually sell off that day. So this was almost a picture perfect sell off, because you already had a downtrending stock, a downtrending market, and it really broke. I really liked it underneath this area here, which it broke a few days ago. And as a matter of fact, somewhere in these days, I said, man, I really feel like that this is probably going to hit $100, because you look at, topped out here and then sort of didn't really make a new breakout until there. So you got the top of here and then you have here, right? And that aligns really well with $100. So I'm just thinking, man, if we're in here, we might eventually get down to that $100. So you have this acquisition, you have huge volume. I think we had 5 million shares already in the pre-market, and then we're still under this level. Sells off right away, just super strong. So yeah, so SPY is staying in a compression. Meanwhile, Tesla's super strong selling off, AMD super strong selling off. And it was almost like it was only a matter of time until the SPY started selling off. And then we got that pretty decent compression. You could start to see the signs. You could say it was a compression, or you could just say this thing was just rolling over, essentially. It was not going to break that higher time frame resistance. It was rolling over, and then anywhere in here, maybe that new low you could have gotten short, this new low you could have gotten short. No matter what, we still had this target to go, right? This big volume, you could have been targeting 430, or you could even been targeting this 433, which it did in fact give it some trouble, came down and then bounced between. And you could have even traded this range, which some people shorted from up here, partial at 433, 434, partial another one at 430, come back up. This is a really good level, short in again, profit here. Maybe we get that the big move down to 426 in which you can hold or add. So this is just beautiful. And so then let's go to, so okay, so I wanted to try and see some comparisons to these stocks here. Okay, yeah, so here's how I got some extra confirmation or saw some similarities between the DKNG and the SPY. So I'm trading DKNG short, right? I'm shorting from here, from 21, and my target is this low here, which is close to 20, I guess. Okay, so it comes here, gives it a little trouble here for about 15 minutes. So super strong support, at least for right now, right? But it's only 12:30. And so then I go over and look at the SPY. SPY, same thing. We have support here, and then we have support here. And what do you know? It starts testing these right at 12:10 as well, right here, 12:10, 12:15, and then boom. So at the same time that this is really pushing down on its support, DKNG is hitting down on its support, and they all bust down through at the same time. So I thought that was really cool. And then you look at Tesla, and Tesla was different. Tesla had already moved a ton, right? So Tesla had already gone down, moved another one. And so while SPY was sort of making its first move and DKNG was sort of making its second and third move, but breaking down big support, Tesla wasn't necessarily making new lows, but it was breaking down here at 12:10, 12:15, breaking this little trend line, this little consolidation, which sort of said, okay, this is, it held up. It was waiting for the SPY, it was waiting for DKNG, it was just waiting for all of these things to sort of hit their supports and then break down. And that's when you can get some extra confirmation. Okay, Tesla might be now on its way down to 850. And even then, it took it a while, right? It didn't flush down sort of like DKNG did. I mean, DKNG, once it dropped that low and that 20, it really just went. Whereas Tesla had already went, and so it was sort of holding up here. And then it really started testing 850 at 230. And let's see, what was SPY doing? So SPY was right here at 230. So Tesla busted through that 850 at 230. However, SPY didn't. So that's a clue to me, right? So SPY was sort of connected with the SPY, or excuse me, Tesla was sort of connected with the SPY, and then now it's not. Like Tesla really busted through 850 and was getting tons of new volume and stuff. Whereas SPY hits it 230 right here, holds up, and then starts coming up. So that right there tells me, okay, maybe SPY is going to hold. You just have to, it's like an art, I guess, to it. You know, you want to look at what's Apple doing, what's Microsoft doing. When I was looking at Microsoft, it was stronger than all the other stocks in terms of it wasn't really selling off under this 280, 298, 299 here. This was the second day play, right? Yesterday had the earnings and then sold off. But really, this was a good level. Before the Fed brought it down, this was a good support. And you can see here, and again, this sold off at the same time SPY did, but it didn't go any lower than 299. So really, this 299 is the same level as SPY is this 430, which is the same level that Tesla is, even though Tesla actually broke it. So that's how those all combined. And then DKNG was, let's see, at 230. At 230, it actually tried to break low of day, kept going, but then couldn't really continue. Here's one more. Okay, so say, and this is a different setup. Say you were trading AMD short. You had a great trade. You traded down to this recent big support of 107 here, right? It breaks it, consolidates, and then keeps going. You're in a monster trade, right? And now you're thinking, man, this is really overextended from VWAP. Yeah, VWAP is right. VWAP's like way up here, okay? So it's really extended from VWAP. I'm way down here. I'm not going to add in, or, I'm not going to hold much longer. Maybe I'll get out of most of it and wait for it to come up, and then I'll get short again. But then you have to look at what everything else is doing, right? This is super weak. Just broke big support. It should sort of waterfall under this support. What is SPY doing? Well, right at 1210. Remember, SPY was actually just now starting its main route down at 1210. And so that can give you confirmation to, hey, hold on AMD longer, or hey, add in, right? You got SPY right at 1210, boom, breaking down, moving and grooving. And then so that's where you could sort of use that to help you add in maybe right here, or see that happen, see the pullback, see SPY still selling off, and then add in here. I just think that was pretty cool. It's like, no, you don't have to get a pullback, and it's all about timing, like when things happen. When that's where it's never the same. Like, when does the news comes out? When the news comes out in the point of the day changes everything. If it comes out right at the close, or if it comes out right before the open, or if it comes out in the middle of the night, or comes out in the middle of the day, all of that changes how it can move and how it connects to the market. And so, yeah, you can say AMD was super overextended, but then you also have to say, well, it's overextended, but however, SPY wasn't overextended. SPY was actually compressing with a lot of RVOL, and it's just now really picking up volume and speed. So therefore, this is probably going to have a lot of trouble pulling back. It's just going to be heavy, and that's how you get these really good trend down moves like this. So it's just, there's an art to it, and it's just a matter of timing and how they all connect like that. So, all right, I rambled quite a bit, but I felt like today was just like a really good learning experience for everyone, for all of us. We're fucking busting our ass trying to figure all this out. And I think this is really working the best for me, is just finding the good levels, but then looking around, looking at the other stocks. What are the other big high volume stocks? Where are their levels, and how do those levels connect to each other? And it just gives me added confirmation, but then also tells me to be more patient too. And then here's one more. Here's IWM, right? So here's the big sell-off from yesterday after the Fed talk. Right at 12:10, 12:15, it starts testing that low and then busts through it. So it's just super, super strong to the downside from everything, from all the stocks. Short, small caps, big caps, everything. So, all right. Hopefully you guys had a good day, and I'll talk to you later.